Hello, people. Welcome to Vibe Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. So, in today's video, I'm going to be showing us how to stitch together our corset patterns. In our previous video, I showed us how to draft and cut our pattern. So, let's get
So as you can
started.
see, I've cut out my main fabric. Can you see? So you take note, I added my half-inch sewing allowance on the cup side. I already added sewing allowance to my pattern, so there's no need to add again. And then I also added to this part, the down part half-inch. So this is my front piece. I decided to just gum the two together so that I don't have too many. I don't want to have pieces. I just want this look to be darkless. So this is it. So I'm going to be sewing my boning lines here in the middle here. Okay, so this is for the front piece. So for the back piece, this is what I have. This is what I have here. I have two pieces for the back because I'm going to be using the fabric to line the back. Okay, so I also went ahead to add my sewing allowance for half-inch here, and then I already have my sewing allowance here and then half-inch for the down part. So here it is. So the cups, for my cups, I have four pieces of each of them. Two will be for the main, that's the front, that's the part you're going to be seeing, and then two will be for the lining. So this is for my side cups, and then this is also for the center cups. Okay, so here we have, and then I went ahead to cut the shoulder part. As for the front, I also added my sewing allowance. Can you see? I have sewing allowance here and here and here. Okay, so I have four pieces because I'll be using it to line it. Okay, so it's going to be the main fabric and also be the lining. So I have for the two shoulders. So this is for the front. So now this is for my casing. This is casing for the boning I'm going to be sewing on top of this corset. So here I have a length of 1.5 and then a width of as long as possible. Okay, what you have. So how do you achieve this casing? You're going to need to place your fabric on bias. Can you see the way it is now is stretchy, but if I leave it this way it's not stretchy, so you have to just place it on bias, just form like a triangle shape, and then place, mark your 1.5 inches, then go ahead to cut it out. So here, now that I've placed it, I can cut another one because I just have only two of this, so I can place it and cut another one. So remember I said it's 1.5 inches, so that means by the time I'm done cutting this, I will slash it open so that I have exactly the same thing as I want. Okay, so I'll just cut another one so that we'll see how I'm doing it. So here is, okay, I'm going to slash it open. It's going to be the casing for my boning. That's going to be the bias I'm going to use to cover the boning, the bonings I'm going to use, or the bone I'm going to use. I have it now, so you can see that it's stretchy. So that's the idea. I have four of them because I'll be using it to case my bonings. Excuse me. Okay, I also cut out a small facing that I'll be using to turn the front neckline. Remember that this top is not going to be lined, so I'm going to be using this to turn the front neckline. Okay, and I've also cut out my loops. I'm going to show us the loops. Went ahead to cut out my sleeves. See, it's an extravagance. It's bigger than normal. It's a bishop sleeve. Okay, so I'm going to be gathering the upper part of the sleeve, and then here I'm going to fold half-inch, then 1 inch, and put my elastic so that it can be gathered. So if you don't know how to cut a basic sleeve, I'm going to drop a link in the description box so that you can watch how to cut a basic sleeve. I just make this sleeve bigger than the normal measurement of the person, so it's just the basic sleeve. So I have my loops, the fabric I'm going to be using for my look. I placed this crepe fabric on 1 inch on fold. So 1 inch on fold, sorry, 3/4 inch on fold. So 3/4, let me use this part to show us. I place this on 3/4 inch on fold. Now, so here's my 3/4 inch on fold. So I cut it out. So after placing 3/4 inch on fold, I went ahead to fold half inch, just fold half of it and then half of it this way. And then I went ahead to fold it this way and then I sewed. So that's exactly what I did here. Just sewed on it. So I have less than half loop because you don't want the loops to be so much, okay? Then the rope too that I'll be using to tie the corset at the back, I placed 1 inch on fold and then I cut out the to sew our bowing. You can see I've already fixed one on the center front. So I'm going to show us how to fix it. Remember that we have our bias, which is 1.5 inches wide. So here's our 1.5 inches wide. I'm going to bring my boning now. The boning, can you see the way it is? It's curved. It's curved this way. So you won't turn it this way. You make sure to place it like this. And then you come down by half of an inch or 3/4 of an inch from this tip here. Okay? You want to bring in your tape so that you can measure this place. So I have 9 inches as the length. So meaning that the boning I'm supposed to use will be 8 inches. Okay? 8 inches. As I'm going to leave half inch here for sewing my cup and then half inch here for turning, that's for sewing this place, okay? So you can actually do, because now this is a basque corset I'm doing. In this case, I'm not going to be using lining, so I'm going to be hemming this place. So I can actually use my 8.5 inches. 8 inches or 8.5 if you want it to get down there, okay? So I'll come down from this fabric now by half inch and then I'll place it half inch inwards, like you can see me doing. That I'll place it going half inch inwards. Then I'll go ahead and start sewing. I'll be sewing on this very thin line here. I hope you can see it. This is going to be the part for my stitch. So I'll come down and start sewing. So I'm done sewing it. I'm going to come down by half of an inch or 3/4 of an inch and cut it like this. So the next thing now, you just need to go and iron it now, or it's the best thing to do. Once you iron it, it allows it to lay very flat. So I'm going to take it to my ironing table and then press it like this so that my bowling is flat. Okay, so that it lays flat like this one. So, but when you're ironing, what you should do is make sure that you fold this part, as don't just leave it this way, don't just do it this way. Can you see how it's coming out? So you make sure to fold this part like this so that you conceal the rough parts inside. Put the boning, can you see? And I folded this part inside. This looks like 1/4 of an inch. So now I'll go ahead to fix my boning on this trial line I've drawn already. Okay, so I'm going to place it like this and then I'll start sewing. Sewing this side now, it's time to sew this other side, the other side. Your hand is placed on it so that you're stretching out your fabric. You don't want it to gather. I fixed the second one. Can you see? So can you see what we have at the back? Just have to make sure that you're sewing really straight. So I'm going to do the same thing I showed us for the others. In order not to make this video too long, just going to do those ones and then I'll show us the outcome. For my cups, this is what I have. I added hasty to it. So can you see? So this is for this side like this. This is my center front, and this is the side cup. So this is what we're going to have. See the sweetheart shape coming together. So this is how I'm going to be sewing. I'll sew this part to this part. Okay. So you want to just make sure that you're sewing on half inch, which is the sewing allowance that you have added. I used hasty to stabilize the cup. Okay. So the one underneath now, Once you are sewing a cups together or bustier together, the one underneath you stretch it out a little. So just stretch it out. Don't pull, just stretch it out so that you can sew into it so that it just blends up with the curve. So this is it. So to sew the second cup, I'll place it like this also, and then I'll sew. So this is what we have for our cups, the two cups. So I'm just going to take it to the ironing table and then we'll iron it opened like this. So after ironing, then I'll show us how to fix the bra cups. So after fixing my bonnet, can you see? This is what we have. Now I've pressed it, it's really laying flat. Next thing now to do is to sew the cup, to fix the bra cup to the cups and then sew it. So to fix your bra cup, first of all you notch to get the center, the bottom like I did. When you get the center, it has to align with this part that is stitched on the down part. So you just come here and pin it. So once it is aligned, then you now begin to arrange your cup from outside. So can you see? Yes. So this cup is for this part here, and then this other one is for this side. So you can see that I have small excess coming out. Don't bother yourself about it. It will still sit well inside. Okay, so I'm going to sew it round. I'll do the same thing for the other one. So, so after sewing it, this is what I have for this. So like I said, I'll repeat the same thing on the second. So just have it in the back of your mind that by the time I fold with my half inch to eliminate all of this. So I'll do for the second one and show it. This is what I have for the two cups. Okay, so now it's time for us to sew it around this. So you place like this. Can you see my sweetheart shape coming out? I'm going to come here now and place the cup from here because this is where it was cut out from. So I'm going to turn. So can you see that this place now is aligning with this center part? And then all the way to this end. And then to start sewing. Okay, so after sewing my cups, this is what I have. Can you see the front? So I've not ironed it yet. This is what we have. So we're just going to notch around these curves so that it relaxes well. Because if you look at it from this side, it looks more relaxed now. It looks more relaxed. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. Then I'll show us how to finish this side. Notching it. I'm going to use this lining, the lining, the cup lining, because I'm not going to line the main corset. That's for the front. So I'll place it like this. Can you see what we have? Place it like this. So I'm going to pin here, pin here. You see? I'll make sure that it's sitting well into the cup. before I now go ahead to use it to turn the cup like this. So I'm going to be using it to turn it like this. Let's see, I'll do that round. So you want to make sure that the cup is sitting well inside. So you just have to pin this part like this. And then we'll pin here too. This is just so now go ahead and top stitch it. This is just to tape down this point. So I'm going to be sewing this way to sew that's to cover up my cup. Okay, so I'll do that with this part. So can you see? Sewn it down. So I can go ahead and remove my pins. So this is what I have for this. Can you see what it looks like? So you can see that it's now sitting better, and then of course it is covered. So I'm going to repeat the same thing I've done here for the other side, and then I'll show us. So can you see what we have? This is the right side, you see, and this is the wrong side. So the next thing to do is for me to top stitch this part. So after ironing the cup, you can see that this is the shoulder. Okay, I've turned this side, I've turned this side. So I'm going to place the shoulder like this. I'm going to be placing it on the wrong side. So this is what I'll be doing. This is what I'll be doing. I'm placing on the wrong side. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So having done this, I'm going to now get my bias. I'm going to be using bias to turn the neckline. Can you see what we have here? So this is what it looks like from the wrong side. So I'm going to get my bias to now from the wrong side like this. I'm going to place it, then I'll sew. So this is what we have after sewing. Use it now to turn this part. That's to cover up this part, okay? So that's what I'll be doing now. So I'm bringing it out now like so. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay, so I'm just going to top stitch now this part neatly. Okay, so this is what I have now. So this is it. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim out my excess. So here we have So you verify if you have any excess anywhere. Okay, I don't have any anywhere. To fix the loops, I've already cut out my loops. I cut 2 inch, 2¼ inch. Okay, so 2 inches and quarter. That's what I cut out for each of them. I have 7 of them here now. So this I'm going to be fixing my loops. I'm going to just turn it from this down part. I'll come up by ½ inch because this is the base of the top. I'll come up by ½ inch and then I'll sew my loop. You can go ahead and pin it, but I won't pin. I'll just be fixing them one after the other. So I'll come up by ½ inch and then top stitch this part. So take the next one and then put it really close. Take the third. Now sew it. Yeah. I'll do that till I get to ½ inch away from the neckline. So this is what I have now. So this is what it looks like. So you can see I have 7 of these loops here. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to sew my boning here on this part. So after sewing my loops now, it's time for me to fix my boning. I've cut out my boning. It's ½ inch, 1 inch shorter than this, what I have here, the measurement I have here. So I'm placing it from this point to this point. So you can see it's leaving my sewing allowances both up and down. And I'm placing it this way. So you want to just place it here like this, very close to the tip. Make sure that it's on the tip. Okay. So you're going to sew now. Next thing to do now is to place the lining fabric, which is still, I'm using the material, the same material. So I'll go ahead and sew it. I'm going to sew behind this stitch. I'll make sure that all the stitches are covered. So I'm going to be sewing after this stitch so that I can completely use the boning to turn the loops at that point. So I'm going to be sewing here now, and then I'll show us what we have. Just sewing the lining. Like I earlier said, I made sure to sew it after all the stitches so you can see what we have now. So my loops is coming out really neatly. So the next thing now to do is to sew this part now, which is the neckline. Is to sew it this way. So I'm going to be sewing it this way here. So we'll go ahead to notch it. Make sure to notch this corner so that it can lay flat. And then trim the excess you have here. That's the seam allowance there. So now the next thing to do is to join my shoulders together. The back and the front. You can see I've already done that. So to join my back and front together, I'm going to be turning the shoulders. You place it like this, and then turn it this way. Yes, so I'll do the same thing for the other side. After fixing, so I want to, it's time for us to shape. You can see the front and the back. Remember we added the seam allowance of 1.5 inches. So whatever is your seam allowance that you added, use it. So in my case, I'll be using my 1.5 inches. So can you see how it is? So I want to place it like this now. So I'll have to take this other part to the back. This is so that I can do a neat finishing. And bring it out. So this is what we have on both sides. To finish off this rough hem now. So we come here now. I have this loop. So you want to make sure that it will go around. Okay. So I'm going to start sewing. I'm going to leave 1 inch out. Then I'll start sewing. So I'm sewing from the wrong side. I'm going to cut at this point. So now I want to sew this part. So I'm going to fold it like this. Can you see what I'm doing? I fold like this, and then I'll fold this way. So you don't have to have up to, that should not be too much. So you can just reduce it to. So I'm going to do this first, number 1, and then I'll do this, and then do this. So this is just so that I can cover up the rough parts, okay? So I'll just go ahead and sew also. Minutes. So this way like that. So the next thing I have to do is to fix my sleeve. This is what the top looks like. Can you see what we have here? So let me wear it on the mannequin and then we'll see it. Okay.